Hi, this is Steve Harper from YourCreativeLife.com with a tip today about something you should never do when you're reaching out to people you don't know using direct messages or some other messaging service. Here's the thing, this happens to me a lot. I'm out there on social media, I'm on Twitter, I'm on LinkedIn, you can find me. People reach out to me sometimes and they do this thing that is a complete and total non-starter in terms of conversation. Now, I'm going to say, as a coach, as a person who wants to spread wisdom, I'm interested in reaching out to people and having people reach out to me. And I understand that sometimes, in the instance that you don't know anybody, reaching out through direct messages might be, in your mind, the best way to do something like that. I understand that. Here's the issue. If a complete and total stranger, somebody I don't know at all, reaches out to me with a direct message that says, "Hi, how are you?" It's a complete and total non-starter. Let me tell you why. If a friend of mine, somebody I've known for, several months, several years, says to me, "How are you?" I might say, "I'm great." Or I might say, "Well, I don't know, today I woke up and I had a little bit of a headache, but then I had a smoothie and then I exercised. And now I feel a little bit better. And how are you?" Right? So that's the kind of normal discourse that might happen with somebody I know, somebody I care about, somebody who has some sort of connection to me in life. But if a total stranger says, "Hi, how are you?" there's nowhere to go with that. Am I really going to tell them how I am, like in a good way or in a bad way, or that it's just a non-starter. It's not a question that I'm ever going to answer in a direct message from a total stranger. It's not a way to network. It's not a way to reach out. It's simply a pleasantry that just gets ignored, right? When I see that, I delete, or I block the person, or I end the conversation at the very least. Here's what I will respond to. Oh, and I should actually back up and say, sometimes with those responses, and I'm not sure, I think it's really important that you never do this. Sometimes they'll add some sort of affectionate spin. I see this all the time. "Hey, dear, how are you?" "Hey, honey." "Hey, bro, how you?" It's like, no. If you're not going to actually engage me in some real conversation, don't insult me by adding a dear, a honey, or some affectionate space that theoretically is going to bridge the gap between the fact that we don't know each other at all. That's never going to work. Here's what I will respond to, and here's what some other people will respond to, because I've seen it myself when I've direct messaged people. If I say to them, "Hey, how are you? I have been a big fan of yours and love your work. I'm wondering about this particular thing." If I ask a very specific question, or you do, that's likely to get an answer because it's a real engagement. And what I recognize as a person who wants to help people in the world is I can answer a direct question about my work, about the industry, about coaching, about writing. I'm happy to do that. And that is more substantive than simply pretending, with a stranger that you really want to know how I'm doing on a particular Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever day it is. So I would say always default at, if you're going to go to the extra mile of sending a direct message, ask a real question. That's the way to network. And even with people you're getting to know in the real world, asking them for direct, real questions. "Hey, I'm curious if you could tell me how you got into the industry. I'm curious if you could tell me what you think a good strategy might be to writing a really good scene," right? The more concrete it is, the more somebody like me or somebody else is willing to answer and engage. But if you just try pleasantries when you don't know the person, it's basically a non-starter, and it's kind of insulting. So I really encourage you to be out there, meeting people, connecting, but connect in a real way, and ask real questions. And stop short, though, of asking for favors. You don't want to say, "Hey, we've never met before, but can you hire me? Nobody responds to that. But hey, we've never met before, but I'm really curious if you could tell me a little bit about how did this scene come to pass? Or how can I write a good log line? Those kinds of questions people will answer, but pleasantries and terms of endearment when you don't know someone, that's something absolutely, definitely to stay away from.